Hello, one. Hello, all. Hello, Keith. How you doing
I'm
on
doing good.
this Friday here? One of our last Monday racing weekends here at Laurel Park.
Monday racing. This is going to be our last one, and then moving forward, little Thanksgiving, right?
Yes,
Always a big
yes.
day, and
Huge
we've got
day.
some steaks lined up. There's some really good steaks lined up for you next weekend. So yeah, it's going to be a busy 7 to 10 days here at Laurel Park. We've got sunny skies. It's beautiful out. A little chilly, 44 degrees. Hence, we are inside. Callie, I have to tell you, back in the day, -5, -6 degrees. We were out there.
Well, we're going for better TV this time, Keith.
Does
So
this make us look
we're
better? I don't. I don't. It might. I don't know. I'm not touching it.
well, you'll certainly. Tim Tulloch is pushing for outside, so we've got our parameters of when we're going to be inside and outside. This
Okay.
won't be the last time we'll be denying being outside this time. But let's go ahead and kick on to race number
All
one
right.
in this maiden 12.5, a one-turn mile here on the dirt. Scratch the number one River Full, which I had underneath in this. Actually, I had this horse right underneath in this race. But
Okay.
you go ahead and land on the number three Moon Sign for Brittany Russell. Javian Toledo getting the call on this one today.
I do. I do. And let's throw the stat up first if we can. There you go. And this has kind of put me over the top. I was going to try to beat River Full, your 9 to 5 morning line favorite, but is now out. So I'm going to go Moonsign. Brittany Russell, loaded for bear. Last 2 years on the dirt, 4 for 10, 40%, 6 for 10 in the money. With the 2-year-old maiden, sprint to route with an ROI of $4. And Moonsign, just a bad break last time. I was a long shot winner, 50 buyer figure, credible figure that won the race up there. But I kind of dropped back. I'm going to give that race a pass. This horse has shown a little bit of positional speed on the turf course. And looking at the breeding, 4 winning siblings, certainly plenty of route in the family. You've got this one by Malibu Moon. And, I think I wish this horse was a little bit on an off-track. Montbrook on the bottom side. It's one of my favorites. But
Right.
I think with River Full being out, I like seeing Toledo with a good break, putting this one in the race early and carry it home from there.
I agree. Also, Brittany Russell, 13 for 21 in the money from Delaware to Laurel. Six
Okay.
of those are winners, so that's 6 for 21, 29% from Delaware to Laurel. As of late, that's a thorough manager stat, so they kind of take things a little bit more off of the recent goes, and then we switch around with number four,
Okay.
number seven, World Factor, the number four who I have on top. I'm just looking again. I gave a similar excuse that you gave last time out. Didn't get the best of breaks last time out, and should like that one-turn mile a little bit better. That 7 furlong first time out, extend that a little bit, and then we're in the coast is clear for that one. But Slingshot Boy,
Uh-huh.
Ned Allard, Angel Cruz, they got a nice win last weekend. And what I do like is that poor last race, so not so great effort last time out. He's sitting at 16% with that one.
Okay, and this one was off a little bit slow. Got position. By the time they hit the 5/8 pole, Cali was right there in range and just didn't kick on. But some experience here might put this one into the mix. But I'm looking Moonsign stretching out with a good break to get it done for
You're looking
Brittany
for
Russell.
some kind of sign in the first,
yeah.
but race number two starts. Keith's early pick four ticket. Keith, let's take a look at that and see how we are playing it today.
$18 ticket, too deep to get you started. Sick-Pack Sarah, a Tis Susan, and if you want to throw another one in there, use Ravenel. It's a cheaper ticket to get you started here, $18. 3 deep in race number 3. 2, 3, and 8. Like Ice Cube Baby to go coast to coast in there. Race 4 with the 1, 6, and 7. Muchacho Macho is going to take plenty of play there for Ness. Looks like the one you can maybe trust. I'll take a shot. Royal Crusader looks like an all or nothing type with me in aftermath off a stumbling beginning. Last time out, race 5 with the 1 and 6. We'll wrap it up. 2 deep there. Union League. Got a little good stat on that one as well for motion. But $18 for that early pick 4 to start your weekend.
We got the Keith Fusel stats coming up in race number 5, but let's talk about race 2 really quickly before we get there. In this claiming 5-6 furlongs here on the dirt, and Keith, you land on the number 5, who I land on underneath Six-Pack Sarah, Hugh McMahon, J. Ron Barbosa. Why not? Especially if you go in that effort 3 back. That's a key. While this one is, are we stretching out again? Nope, we are not stretching out on this one. So that's a key race 3 back, Keith.
Yeah, and last race was pretty strong. That was a blistering pace early. I thought she'd be a little bit closer to it. Her nemesis has been kind of the gate and behind the gate. She's been a little bit of a bad actor. If she kind of keeps her head on straight, we've got the return of Barbosa, right?
Right.
So good to have him back, healthy and ready to roll. She's the speed of the speed. If she breaks cleanly, she should go ahead and dictate it. We've got a video of the 6 to Susan Ann. This is one that I thought made a pretty good run 2 races back. She's shown speed in the past as well, so it's tough for me to get a gauge of what we're really going to see from Tis Susan Ann, but she drops into conditioned company today, and this should pick her up and lay her a little bit closer. But a good run, 4 to 5 wide all the way that day, but closes steadily behind Claire's Darling at the 5.5 furlong distance. Gets 6. She's shown to be capable at this distance in the past. I think she's going to be just fine with a return to the main track today. She's going to need a little help up front, though. Maybe Torch Carrier can force that issue to six-pack Sarah. If that's what's going to happen, that's what she's going to need. Ravenel, the 2, I'll toss into the mix for Chris Harding. This is a mare that's been okay sprinting in the past. She works up against some of the similar horses on the go back. You see her running close to Tweetaway Robin. So she likes this track. She was really keen and eager to go last time at a mile. This little turn back, if they can kind of throttle her down a little bit, she'll bring that punch.
Exactly, which is why they are cutting her back in distance this time out. 5-6-2-3 for Keith Fustel. I go 6-5-4-2. Race number 3 is this maiden 25.5 dirt event here today. Big scratch in the 4. Love the hustle because you had that one underneath. You're going for a bit, not so much of a bit of a price, but I had that one on top. You had that one underneath. To me, it was a big enough jump. So, which leaves you, as you mentioned, with Ice Cube Baby trying to take it from gate to wire this time.
Yeah, let me cut the
My
phone
goodness.
off. Yeah, well, just getting texts in here. I don't want to.
Mr. Popular.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I don't want to disappoint anybody. But no, Ice Cube Baby, quick. I think she's the speed of the speed. She was against the grain the last 2 tries. Now she's down inside. She breaks. She separates. And I think she can hold sway. I don't know if Arrogant Stream is as quick as her. She comes off Lasik. She keeps up against some good horses. Don't get me wrong. We'll see if she can kind of chase and sustain against Ice Cube Baby. I like the Frocks here to get it done.
I don't know what's up with that graphic, but I do have the 8 on top with that's Arrogate Dream, Jerry Robb, Xavier Perez. This one showed a lot of promise before that first time out. Was breezing with older horses and was really keeping up with them. So I'm not quite sure. So we're seeing a little bit of a different of Arrogate Dream, but that race last time out that showed a little bit more of a promise. Really coming from not off the pace, but a really nice mid pack off the pace type of trip, and was really able to kind of bring that home a little bit. So I'm going to take that outside post, and also I'm fine with that outside post for this filly today.
Yeah, I think she's going to get in position. She's clear. She should be able to break cleanly from out there and just do all the chasing. Unless the firster, Ojito Bayless, kind of shows that speed. But the road goes through the 3, no doubt, with a good break. And I've got 3.
They have race 2 graphics up right now.
My bad.
Yep.
Okay.
So
that's okay. But I like Ice Cube Baby. A little sleeper, maybe the 2, 5-star friend. It took some play, part of that entry.
Yep.
Was acting up a little bit in the gate at Delaware. I'm going to drop now. This is definitely some help. Ned Allard with a winner here recently. He called it with a first-time starter at a fairly good price. So I give this one a little bit refreshed and retooled to definitely improve off of that debut at Delaware Park.
Absolutely. Ned Allard, 3 for 15 with the second-time starters. Backs it up 9 for 15 in the money with those second-time starters. So absolutely have the 2 underneath. Race number 4 starts the Rainbow Pick 6. We have a nice carryover leading up into that, almost over a 36,000 carryover if we could see that board at all, guys. But that race number 4 is a claiming 5,000. That starts this rainbow. There we go. It's $36,421 carryover that starts in this race. Race number 4. This claiming 5,000. 3-year-olds never won a race, never won 4 a mile here on the dirt. And this is how I kind of key it up. Mama, I Got This and Muchacho Macho. Race number 7 is where I go in on my single. This is a bit of a conservative ticket. This is a real El Cheapo, Keith.
Yeah.
My single is
unlike you, Callie.
Very unlike me. Yeah. So I couldn't find any races that I thought were super crazy. So if I can't see it and you can see it, certainly I give you a structure to really just to really start something really skeletal to start something up. But my key single today is Afghan for Carrie Brion. coming with the blinkers off this time in that nice event in the seventh. The $21.60 ticket, which I normally don't shell out, but there you go. A nice conservative ticket for the Rainbow Pick Six. Race number 4 is claiming 5,000, a 1 mile on the dirt here. I land on Muchacho Macho, as I mentioned, but you land on the rail horse Royal Crusader for Anthony Ferrier, J. Ron Barbosa, and I can see what you're seeing because at first when I look at races, I always tend to look at the first horse, and this horse sparked my attention immediately.
You start from the rail, and I just saw Barbosa. He doesn't ride a ton. He, haven't really teamed up for anything yet, but
Right.
Barrier. But you got to tell a little bit of a story. Royal Crusader is clearly all or nothing. Disappointed in last off of a break on a drop. Now drops again, gets the condition. If Royal Crusader shows up with Barbosa, I think he'll be able to kind of get close enough, say mid-turn, and then proceed from there. But that it's a little bit of a guess, so there's no doubt. The safe play in here is Muchacho Macho, shown tactical speed, kind of that steady grinder. There's no real strong flow in this race.
Right.
When you break it down, Resident Liberal coming off the turf, so we don't really know.
That horse will not be,
Yeah, what he's going to bring to the table. So
He's won.
it should be the sixes race to lose up front.
Right.
A little shot, though. It's a little tell maybe with Barbosa. There you go. 1-6 or 6-1 look like the main horses. In the 7, if you're going to go 3 deep, I think that's a shot with a trouble trip last time out.
Circling back to Royal Crusader,
Okay.
Ferrier Barbosa, as you mentioned, I was just going to try and trip in on that. So 1 for 11 on the dirt recently, but 5 seconds. So if you're gonna pick this team to gear up second, you probably won't be steered far off in that direction. So doing the math real quick, 8 for 11 in the money though. So 1 win, 5 seconds, 2/3. So that's 9% win percentage, but that's well close to 50% in place for that pairing.
It's a lot of math there. Aftermath. We'll show that start of its last race if
Yes.
we can. November the 5th against Dolce Vita. Know how I know. That might have been a little bit better field, right?
Right.
Just got all discombobulated there. Pretty bad stumble right to the nose out of the gate.
Yeah,
And just was
absolutely.
never able to kind of recover. He has races on his page, certainly, and it's not too far back that put him into the mix. Live rider. It would not be a surprise to pull a little bit of an upset from mid-pack.
Absolutely not. Race number 5 is that maiden claiming 45, a mile here on the dirt, the 1-turn mile here on the dirt. Scratch the 2, Salto Cruzan, scratch the 7, Mo Money Mo Beta. Leaves us with the 6 and the 4. Keith, let's talk about Union League for a hot minute. Graham Motion, you've got a little stat that you said coming up.
Well, yeah, we don't have a
Not
graphic
here,
for it,
not a
but
graphic,
I'll
but
give you the stat.
give us a
right,
stat.
Right now, Motion, 6 for 17, 35%, 9 for 17 in the money the last few years, turf to dirt with these maidens that are wearing blinkers. This is going to be a first-time blinker move with Union League. I struggle with this race. You see my morning line favorite at 4-1, might come down a little bit with a couple scratches. This is a very contentious race, and just kind of a sleeper pick here. Dropping it in for 45. They paid 90. Looked at the breeding. The lone Sibda race was by Speightstown. 1 for 4, 3 for 4 in the money on the dirt with a big fig going back last March at the fairgrounds. So there's dirt ability within the family. Blinkers go on. Took play both starts. Motion. This horse took a lot of play for a firster. I know
Right,
that was
for a
at
motion
Delaware. I
firster.
know it was Delaware. So,
Sure.
but still a lot of play
Right.
in a big field. So let's see if this transition doesn't pick this one's head up. But I really fear the one here. First off, the claim for Kieran. No time like the present. Barbosa, inside speed. More of a sprint lean in that family, Callie.
Yes.
But would not surprise me if this guy carries it all the way this afternoon.
Carries it all the way. I think we have a video on No Time Like Present, the rail horse, just keying in from that last out. Really just a nice effort here down the stretch. And what I like is that this horse gets a bit of an opportunity. This was at 7 furlongs last time out. Today, we stretch it out to 8. So we get a little bit of an extension, and we're going to find out in this we'll find out in this stretch here of this horse can handle that extra distance.
Yeah, I think, Karen, he might have claimed one off of Mike a few months ago or stretched it out a little bit. I'm not mistaken. Similar
You're
to
not.
Chestnut, right?
Right.
And it kind of kept on going. So, yeah, a couple good races. Wonderwater came out of there to run okay. Strategic, came back to win. I don't think this is really a bump up. On paper, it's a bump. I think it's a step sideways when you're really looking to competition. Forward a long way in here with the 1.
a long way here with the 1. There's a lot
Okay.
of options in this race. But I love what you pick up, especially with Grand Motion on Union League. I completely wrote that horse off, and in fact, he's 5 for 20. Excuse me, 5 for 25 with the blinkers on as of late. So a 21% with the blinkers on. Absolutely, that's a nice price of the number 6. You also have the number. I have the number 4 underneath. Where do you have this horse? You have this horse
Yeah, in
underneath
the
as well.
mix.
Willowwood. Let's talk about Willowwood. Arnaud Delacour. This is where I go with, because while Graham is great with first time blinkers right now, Arnaud Delacour 7 for 22 with that first time route as of lately, and so that's what I'm keying on in a bit. Also 15 for 29 with that second start right now.
Yeah, just has to go an extra furlong today. Started debut at 7, which is not an easy task. This horse broke a little bit slow, got position, was under a ride basically from the far turn to the wire. I like how he was able to dig down, hold position. It's a horse I talked about. They spent a lot of money on a divining rod, and I looked at that family. I was like, man, this must have been a looker. This horse ran very well. Gritty effort in debut. I think your analysis, the 5 has to be used a little bit. Chased on a track where you really couldn't make up a lot of ground, but continued willingly. But, yeah, I'm going to key around the 1 and the 6 in there, and we'll take it.
And I'm going to key around the 4 and the 5. Helps that you have that one underneath. Race number 6, claiming 10,000 for the Fillies and Mares 3-year-old. Never win 2. A mile and 16th here on the Durf. Scratch the number 9, Harper's Due. That really doesn't change anything with my picks, but that leaves you with the number 6 on top. That is Bad Temper, Horace Parker, J.D. Acosta.
Yeah, I'll take the scratch here with Harper's Due 31. I thought could have been a little bit troublesome up front for my top selection. Maybe Rosalie goes from the rail. Other than that, I think Bad Temper can get into position. Is proven it to 2 turns. I'll pass on the last. I'll throw it out. That didn't really kind of pick up the feet. Had position and was dead flat, which might in turn give us a little value. You take that 26 out. The 58 buyer and the 56 buyer recently on the dirt beats this field. So let's hope he can revert to form. I want Acosta putting this horse right into the race right off the bat.
And I see it very, very differently. I go with the number 8 in Holding Court, Kieran McGee. This one, you go for the one that kind of is. This one is ever so consistent, and if you're going off of a couple of these numbers, especially, we're not going to see that same horse that we saw down at Gulfstream Park when he broke his maiden. But Kieran picked this horse right away from Dale Bennett. We're here at the 8. Has run this horse a couple of different places. I like this horse at Laurel. I'm actually going to, it doesn't seem like much, but against that field and that claiming 40, again, just tried to send for it, dropped back down. That's not how this horse plays the game. You go back to that muddy effort back at Delaware, made a mid-pack move, maybe a bit early move, and I think that took away from him a little bit. So you get back to a fast track, you get back to Laurel Park. I think that's a bit where this horse is keying in on. So I go for a bit of a price play in this one.
Okay, a little jump up in the fig last time. I think so she's going to have to move up a little bit more. I hope you get a price. You'd have to demand a little bit of a price on her, but she's got Barbosa, right?
Right.
So, he can get on the go.
This field, this whole field.
This race is tough. I like Heartlight a little bit underneath. This is a horse who kind of chased against Bad Temper. Had a little trouble in that race and just kept on willingly. I like Ruiz riding this horse to settle somewhere in mid-pack. Also the 10 outside, a trouble trip, stumbled and caught wide. We'll have to drop in, save some ground to enhance any kind of run if she's going to bring it against this field.
Absolutely. I go with 8, 3, 4, 5. Lucky Lorraine underneath. Keith, you go with 6, 7, 10, 3. Our picks are wildly different in that race, but we will be at a commercial. We will be right back to talk about the rest of the card. Are back for this maiden special weight event in race number 7, a mile and 16th on the Durf. Hey, we both agree, thankfully, on my single in my ticket. Afghan for Carrie Brion. Blinkers off this time for Carrie's horse. Sheldon Russell gets the call on this one, turns back around to the dirt. The last time this one saw the dirt was a maiden special weight up at Saratoga.
Yeah, catches the right kind of field. It looks like if he's remotely close to what he was in his prior dirt races, he's going to go second time gelding on the dirt. I go back to the race at Saratoga. Last place finisher came out of there to gallop and run like a 75 and a maiden 40. So Actually, I want to see a little bit more,
I agree.
positional speed.
I
Let's hope we
agree.
can kind of get up within range because I think Dominguez, the 4, is going to be tough. I think this horse is going to be sent away from the middle of the pack and try to secure position early and go. But Ashan, man, it's going to have to really go off form off those dirt races. Going to be a short price. I would protect a little bit. He's had a lot of chances.
Right.
So Dominguez, I'm going to default on him as my second choice in there. The 2, possibly. Into Mischief. You got an
Okay.
Into Mischief firster, 3 winning sibs on the family, lay 6 on, have to Rose Tree, 6 for 18, $336,000 winner. Won its first 3 starts by a landslide.
Wow.
And so this has got some horses, it's kin to some horses that have run well early. So maybe that's your sleeper price play for Eddie Graham.
I love that. I love a couple sleeper price plays in. I like that pickup with Amusing Mischief as well. But a lot to offer with what seems to be a sure winner in that field. But we're going to find out what happens in that 7th race, race number 8 in our feature allowance for the girls. 7 furlongs here on the dirt. We both land thankfully on RB Star, Damon Dialdivico, J. Ron Barbosa back in the saddle on this one. We're going to take a look at RB Star right now, and that was in that last effort over at Pimlico.
I hope Pimlico on a good track, a good position, was kind of just tucked up behind the leader inside of another rival there around the turn, and stayed with it. Had to be nudged along, Callie, to stay
Right.
within range of Bandits Warrior, who looks home right now, right? Just
Right.
kind of just cruising up there on the front end with the X-Man, but eases out and just determined right here on the correct lead. A little surprised to see her kind of go to the turf last time off such a big effort on the dirt, but maybe that's kind of just the way things work schedule-wise,
Right.
trying to keep her going. She comes back, I believe, now to her absolutely preferred surface. She's going to have to be tied on. 7/8 of a mile is just kind of really her thing, but she just kept going into a pretty good pace there. I think against this field, she lasts the trip forward. The horse that's tough for me to gauge is Skipper Sue off of a race that only had 3 runners in her debut. And I tell
Right.
you, they wanted her to get something out of it because Sheldon rode her every step of the way. I mean,
Right.
she was ridden hard from the top of the stretch to the wire when widening against that group. A step up here, no doubt, but should benefit off of that debut.
Right, and I agree. And I think he rode that filly hard because she probably needed to keep attention. So they're probably going to take that. Shell's probably going to take that same action of getting this filly to the lead this next time out. I don't think anything is going to change, which leaves RB Star a perfect target to go after. What I liked is that this filly dug after in that video that we saw, dug after that target, and then she was able to keep going on with it. And then of course the red hot Damon Dialdivico barn. Here we go. This race is kind of an epitome of tomorrow as well. It's going to be a Damon and Brittany show tomorrow as well, but this is just a slight taste of what we're going to be getting tomorrow.
These two have been going great guns. I mean,
Yeah.
no doubt about it. Damon having a career year, and Brittany just kind of, no love, she had a little bit of a lull and just kind of
Right.
hitting on most of the cycles right now. Olivia Darling coming back to a fast track, has a good number at 7/8 of a mile. This is a tricky little. It looks like I can trust RB Star. Skipper Sue again. We're going to guess a little bit. Hop Picker just didn't show at all.
Right.
Comes back part of the speed. So
Keying
around the
in.
2 and a 5.
Yep.
No real prices there, unfortunately, for me.
Right, unfortunately not, which leaves us to our nightcap of this day, this claiming 12-5, 6 furlongs here on the dirt. You land on the number 4, Dreams
Yeah.
Delivered. Anthony Pecoraro, Jeremy Rose. I like this because I took the first look and then I took a second look, but I liked what I saw in the first look on this one.
Yeah, look, kind of got a good scenic trip last time. You see the short comment, read into it, drafted back, right? Swung wide. I didn't give you a finish, so you go watch that video and see what you think. Dreams Delivered, I think, had a little bit more in the tank. She just didn't bring it. She's going to drop a big drop here. She doesn't run big. I don't know what the future kind of hold, or for him, what the future holds. But a couple good races prior to that. I think he's going to have some speed to target. He's going to like that. He'll make a run along with Reed to Spec.
Anthony Pecoraro, 3 for 11 second after the layoff as of lately, should help that out a little bit. I go with Hope He's Fast for Jerry Robb, Xavier Perez. That was a lightning bulb. That was just a light switch race last time out. This horse really jumped up, really got aggressive and nice and aggressive last time out. Held on to get that win. I just like what I saw in Hope He's Fast last time out. Yep.
Yeah, he rode the best part of the racetrack. The rail was good, inside speed edge on the 4th. Can he get that position and hold it against a horse like Blaine Blame the Bourbon,
Sure.
coming off the half-mile win at Timonium. And even I once stood alone just to his outside, I think is going to be part of that flow. You got to look for Reed the Spec, look for Dart from the back of the pack. We have a video of Reed the Spec's last race, right? A maiden winner here for 12.5, holds the level today. Out of a key race at Timonium, Key's up against the right kind and RB's Boss, and just took that aim on Buck Wild and did all the chasing and was able to sustain and go away. The extra furlong today, or half a furlong, it's going to be just fine, I believe, for Reed the Spec. I just don't want this one caught super wide, and I don't think he's going to need to get that trip, especially with the two speeds just to his inside. He should be able to kind of drop right in and then just kind of wait around the turn and go from the 3/8 pole home.
I agree. I agree with everything that you just said there, Keith, especially with that, most notably with that outside post that Reed the Spec have. So, Keith, a lot, again, just nothing too crazy, but this race is just interesting enough. It is. It really is, because I have Blame the Bourbon on the inside that you mentioned. I have that. I'm taking a stab with Benny Feliciano. Short sampling, 2 for 4. In the money second time out, but again, this is an intriguing nightcap that we have here.
I look at the morning line again.
Right.
I sat there. I showed Frank Vespi this race. I said, "Where are you supposed to go from when you're looking at it to make a line?" Absolutely, positively, do not take less than 7-2 on any of these horses.
Correct.
You just can't from a betting standpoint,
No.
a gambling standpoint. Dart, I expect a good run. First time off the claim, Kieran deadly with this move. I think this horse is going to move up. A couple different runs at Delaware, so the stamina is definitely there for Dart. Turning back in distance should make a good punch into it.
A lot of races that are going to go either way today here on the Friday's card. Let's take a couple of talking points here in the lightning round. Well, Long River Yearling started to sell a little bit last year, and now we're seeing some results. The Dale Capuano trainee Ride the Rapids went off as 3-1 second choice in a 6 furlong 30,000 maiden claiming race. She broke from post 7, as you can see, stumbled slightly at the start and moved to rate 3 wide off of an early pace. And as they rounded the turn, Carlos Lopez just nudged her along a little bit and moved after the early leader, Donna's Courage. So we get the first winner for Long River. Interesting. I know Dale Capuano is excited to see what all these Long Rivers produce, but we'll see what it does for these Maryland horses.
If I remember correctly, they bought some okay money too. Some guys coming and went over to the sales and stuff. They looked good and they were bringing some money. So we'll see if things kind of improve. They probably will, I would think, for Long River.
Absolutely. Yep. And we do have a couple. Keith talked about some stakes races that we have coming up after, Thanksgiving, and one of the highlights is the Howard Bender Memorial, and where she told me to go is coming back to try and get that title again. Of course, 13-time career stakes winner, graded stakes coordinator, and this is the win here last year on the outside. This is the 7 furlongs for the 3-year-olds and up. The Politely for the fillies and mares, 3 years old and older at sprinting 6 furlongs, and both restricted to Maryland bred and sired horses. So a couple. Laurel's going to serve up $300,000 stakes on Saturday on November 26th. The mile and eighth, Richard Small. The City of Laurel for the 3-year-olds, and the Safely Kept for the 3-year-old fillies, each going 7 furlongs on those. So some nice stakes races and some nice stakes action that we have, and we'll be touching on those a little bit more, you, myself, and Tim Tulloch. But now back to today's. What's your best bet and your value play today, Keith?
Let's get to the best bet. Race 7, shorter price, Afghan. I don't like giving out short prices. So I should scrap that one. Come back with another one. But looks like you might be able to rely on that one. It's a tricky little card today, and it looks like that horse should win. And value play. There was a couple ways I could have gone in here. Let's see. Let me go back to my. What did I have? Yes, there it is. 66. Yes. Bad temper.
Bad temper.
Bad temper. Throw out the last. Has had a couple good races at 2 turns. Acosta, I think, is going to put this one into the race early and carry it a long way in here. And you're going to get an okay price, I believe, especially based on that last race.
Right.
Quick to give up.
Quick to give up. That's quite a race there. I also go with the price place as well in that race. So that kind of epitomizes the whole card that we have here today. Like you said, tricky. Let's see who gets all the tricks and the tips today. But here's Dave Rodman for some changes and scratches.
All right. Good luck.